William Ray with Concordia University Television at 1000 de la Gauchetière, where we're at a protest for the liberation of John and Tarek, two Canadian journalists being currently held by the military regime in Egypt.
Avec M. Justin Podour, hein, c'est bien ça? Et vous êtes l'organisateur, effectivement, non seulement de cette manifestation, mais c'est vous, je crois, qui avez été à l'origine de la pétition qu'on voit sur change.org.
Oui, I'm a friend of Tarek and John's. I've been a friend of Tarek's for about 11 years and a colleague of John Greyson. John Greyson is a professor at York University where I also teach. So I've known both of them for a while, and I was the designated emergency contact for their trip. So when they got arrested on the 16th of August, 39 days ago, they actually called me and said, the emergency that you were hoping would not happen seems to have happened.
Who called you?
Tarek called me.
Tarek himself?
Yeah, Tarek himself called me at 10 p.m. Cairo time, which is 4 p.m. Toronto time, on August 16th, and he told me, we are being arrested, it's the Egyptian police. So,
comment ça se passe maintenant? Ils ont entamé une grève de la faim il y a une semaine à peu près. Est-ce que vous avez eu des contacts récemment avec eux?
Well, we've had a number of contacts with them. The consular, on the second day, the Canadian embassy in Cairo found out where they were. They're in Tora prison, where they've been the entire time, which is a big prison in Cairo. It's the prison where Mubarak was imprisoned. It's the prison where Morsi was imprisoned. It's kind of a political prison in Cairo. They were there. They've been there for 39 days. Consular officials from the embassy have visited them maybe 4 or 5 times, and our lawyers have visited them. So we've been able to pass messages, but they're not allowed phone calls, they're not allowed emails, they're not allowed to contact the outside world directly. So we haven't heard their voices. You know, we've only had indirect contact with them.
Are you sure they see physicians on a regular basis?
Well, that's what the Canadian Embassy has reported to us, that they've had well-being visits where the embassy staff send a doctor and check in on their physical conditions and so on. Yeah.
How do you explain the attorney postponed, the Egyptian attorney postponed twice the hearing? How comes?
Well, I think what's going on in Egypt right now is there's an emergency law. They've arrested hundreds of people. It's a climate where they're in a very aggressive kind of mentality, and they're not seeing any cost to them to imprisoning people for long periods of time, including Canadians.
So for them, it's not the main concern.
Exactly. So for them, it's not the main concern. And one of the things we want to do today at this demonstration is show them that we're not going to forget about Tarek and John. We're not going to go away because they've put them away and locked them away for 39 days. We're not just going to ignore that and let that pass.
Did you have any? The government should do more. I mean, from what I understood, you think they should do more?
Well, yeah, so we've had, Minister Baird is at the United Nations General Assembly. The Egyptian Foreign Minister is at the United Nations General Assembly. They're going to have a meeting and they're going to bring this up. But evidently, this hasn't been enough. Whatever we've been doing, whatever our government has been doing, has not been enough to get the message across. I'm not sure where the message is getting lost. Maybe it's between us and the Egyptians. Maybe it's within the Egyptian government. Maybe the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is having trouble getting the prosecutor or the Minister of the Interior to listen. What else can we ask for? There's a few things. One thing that we want is for Prime Minister Harper to make a call to his counterpart, the Deputy Prime Minister of Egypt. But there's more than that. I mean, we've heard that the Deputy Prime Minister of Egypt is here in Canada this week. He's in Toronto on a private trip. Why can't the Deputy Prime Minister of Egypt have some kind of a conversation with Canadian officials about 2 Canadians that are detained in Egypt right now? Whether it's private or not.
The opportunity, right?
I think so. I think that they should. I don't think there should be private business that doesn't deal with Tarek and John between Canada and Egypt right now. I think there should be one item on the agenda of any business meeting between Canadians and Egyptian officials, and that should be why are Tarek and John not been released?
Did you personally have any contact with those people from the consular staff?
The families of Tarek and John have been in touch with the Egyptian ambassador. The Egyptian ambassador in Ottawa has handled it. Of course, the consul general in Montreal is also an important point of contact, which is why we're here today. They have repeatedly made their concerns, expressed. We, as the family representatives, we've repeatedly made our claim. We've asked for information. We've asked for their release. The ambassador says the same thing that the Egyptian Ministry of Foreign Affairs says. They say that the prosecutor has the right to make this decision. This is a matter of the judicial system, but the judicial system has failed. 39 days later, I think we can say that the judicial system is not working the way it's supposed to work.